Hello, welcome. I'm Lee Boone, founder of Buckeye Financial LLC, and I want to start by asking you one question before we dive in. When was the last time your money worked as hard as you did? Not your investments, not your 401k, your actual money. The dollars sitting in your checking account right now while you're watching this. If you can't answer that question, this presentation is for you. What I'm about to show you is something most financial advisors never talk about because there's no commission in teaching you the truth about how money actually moves. Stay with me. This changes everything. Here's something nobody tells you. The average American paycheck lands in a checking account and sits there for 14 to 21 days before the bills go out. 14 to 21 days. That's 2 to 3 weeks of your hard-earned money doing absolutely nothing. No interest, no growth, no progress against your mortgage. No progress against your debt, just sitting there, idle, while you go back to work and earn more. The bank calls this normal, and they're right. It is normal. But here's what they don't tell you. While your money is sitting there doing nothing for you, the bank is lending it out to someone else at 20% interest and keeping every penny of that profit. You do the work, they collect the reward. The wealthy figured out this unacceptable truth a long time ago. Today I'm going to show you what they did about it. Look at exactly where your money is going, because the leak isn't just in your checking account. Your savings account pays your fractions of a percent in interest. Meanwhile, the bank takes those same deposits and lends them out at credit card rates, 20, 24, sometimes 29%. They are literally using your money to charge other people interest and keeping all of it. Your mortgage is even more calculated than that. On a standard 30-year loan, your lender designed the payment schedule so that the majority of every payment you make in the first 10 to 15 years goes straight to interest, not principal, not equity, interest. The bank gets paid first, always. That is not an accident. That is architecture. And your consumer debt, credit cards, car loans, personal loans, every single one of those products was engineered with one goal: to keep you making minimum payments for as long as possible, so the interest never stops accumulating. The system is not broken. It is working perfectly, just not for you. I want you to sit with this one for a second. Most people think they bought a home. What they actually bought was a payment, a 30-year payment. Here's the math. On a standard 30-year mortgage for a $300,000 home at a typical interest rate, by the time you make your last payment, you will have paid $550,000 or more, sometimes significantly more. The extra $250,000 did not build equity. It did not go into your retirement account. It did not fund your children's education. It went directly into the pocket of a lender you have probably never met, one payment at a time, over 30 years. And here's the part that really stings. Most people had absolutely no idea. They just kept making the payment because that's what you do. The question I want you to start asking is, what if there was a different way to move that money? Here's what the bank understands that most people never learn. Interest accumulates based on your average daily balance. The higher your balance sits, the more interest accumulates against you. The lower it drops, even temporarily, the less interest the lenders can charge. That one principle is the foundation of every mortgage, every car loan, and every credit card ever designed. They are all built to keep your balance as high as possible for as long as possible so interest has maximum time to accumulate. The wealthy figured out how to use the exact same principle, but in reverse. Instead of fighting the system, they learned the rules, and then they built a better one. They move money in a way that keeps balances low constantly and consistently, not just on a payment. And that one shift changes the entire trajectory of their financial life. What if your money moved at the speed of wealth instead of the speed of a payment schedule? I want to show you two people, same income, same expenses, same debt, completely different rules. Person one follows the traditional path. Paycheck lands in checking, sits there for 3 weeks, bills go out, repeat for 30 years. Mortgage gets paid off around 65, if they're lucky. Whatever's left over funds in retirement. Wealth building starts late, if it ever starts at all. But person two uses what I call the velocity path. Every dollar they earn works against their debt balance the moment it arrives. Interest stops accumulating in real time, not just on payment day, but every single day. Their mortgage isn't gone in 30 years, it's gone in 7 to 10. Same income, same expenses, one system changed everything. That system has a name, and the full blueprint is what we build together in your strategy session. Let me show you what this actually looks like in real life. A standard 30-year mortgage compressed to 7 to 10 years. Not through refinancing, not through a windfall, not through earning more money, through moving existing money differently. Tens of thousands of dollars in interest recaptured, permanently redirected toward your future instead of disappearing into a lender's bottom line. And here's the part that surprises most people. This is not a sequential strategy. You don't eliminate the debt first and then start building wealth. Both happen simultaneously. Capital that previously vanished into interest payments get freed and redirected while the debt is still being eliminated. This is not about making more money. It is about making your existing money work harder than you ever thought possible. I want you to think about every interest payment you ever made. Every single one of those dollars is gone permanently. It doesn't build equity. It doesn't show up in your retirement account. And it doesn't come back to you at the end of the loan. It simply transfers, silently, automatically, every single month, into someone else's bottom line. Now multiply that by 12 months. Multiply it by 10 years. Multiply it by 30 years. The velocity strategy positions you to stop that transfer and redirect the interest back towards yourself. The wealthy don't just avoid paying interest, they redirect it. And over time, that redirection compounds into something extraordinary. Here's where it gets really powerful. When debt disappears faster, cash flow is freed. When cash flow is freed, it can be redirected. When it is redirected intentionally into the right assets, wealth compounds. That flywheel, velocity leading to less interest, freeing cash, freed cash flow, building wealth, wealth generating more opportunity. That is the engine the wealthy have been running quietly for decades. Almost nobody is talking about it. Not because it doesn't work, but because there's no commission in teaching you how to move money you already have. It does not start with more money. It starts with moving money differently. Now, here's where it gets even more powerful. The velocity strategy alone is transformational. Debt gone in a fraction of a time, tens of thousands recaptured, cash flow freed that you thought was locked up forever. Most people who implement just this first step tell me their lives are already dramatically different. But the wealthy don't stop there. Once they're freed, that cash flow, they don't let it sit in the checking account doing nothing. They redirect it into a second strategy, one that grows protected from market crashes, generates tax free access to capital, and builds a wealth transfer for the next generation. That second strategy is what I cover in my 16 banks presentation. And if you haven't watched it yet, the link is in the description, because velocity is how you get free. But what comes next is how you build the empire. Before we go further, I want to clear something up, because I know what you might be thinking. This is not a budget plan. Nobody is going to hand you a spreadsheet and tell you to track your coffee spending. This is structural strategy, not a discipline exercise. This is not debt consolidation. You are not shuffling debt around or taking out new loans to pay off old ones. This is a completely different thing, and frankly, it usually makes the problem worse. This does not require a higher income. You don't need a raise, a windfall, or a side hustle to make this work. It works with what you already earn. And this is not get rich quick. The math behind this is real, and the results are dramatic, but they are built on substance, not shortcuts. You do not have to have money problems. You have a money movement problem, and that's fixable. Let me tell you exactly who this strategy was built for. If you have a mortgage or a significant debt, this is for you. And here's something that might surprise you. The more debt you carry, the more powerful this strategy becomes, because there is more interest to recapture. If you have consistent income, whether you're employed or self-employed, this works with what you already earn. Consistency matters far more than the size of the paycheck. If you feel like you work hard but never get ahead, that feeling is accurate, and it has a name now: dead money. And now, there's a solution. If you want to build wealth without waiting until 65, retirement shouldn't be a choice, not the finish line you crawl across after 40 years of payments. You do not need to be wealthy to use this. You need to be intentional. Here's what I need you to understand about how this works. Every velocity strategy is engineered differently. Your income, your debt structure, your timeline, your goals, all of it shapes a blueprint that is uniquely yours. There is no off-the-shelf version of this done correctly. This is why the full blueprint is revealed exclusively in your one-on-one strategy session, not in a video, not in a presentation, not in a generic calculator online. The process is 3 steps. First, we do a cash flow analysis. We map exactly where your money is going every month, and more importantly, where it is dying. Second, we build your velocity blueprint. We engineer a custom system built specifically around your income, your debt, and your goals. Third, we activate and accelerate. Your money starts working harder from day one, not someday down the road, excuse me. The best time to stop letting your money sleep was about 10 years ago. The second best time is today. You now understand the first strategy. You understand why your money has been dying in a checking account. You understand what velocity does and what it makes possible. But this is only half the picture. The next step is seeing what the wealthy do with the cash flow once it's freed. That is the 16 banks presentation. And it is the most eye popping financial education video I have ever produced. Scan the QR code on your screen right now or click the link in the description. Watch 16 Banks next, and then come back and let's build your empire together. Here's your next step. Schedule your complimentary Buckeye Shield strategy session. This is a no pressure, no pitch conversation. We look at your income, your debt structure, your goals, and we map out exactly what is possible for you right now. You leave with clarity, whether we work together or not. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to the link in the description to book your session. Your money has been working for the bank long enough. Let's put it to work for you. Quick word about who I am and why I'm the right person to walk you through this. I'm Lee Boone, former the Ohio State Buckeye defensive back. All right. I'm the member of a 2002 BCS National Championship team and founder of Buckeye Financial LLC. I spent 20 plus years in insurance and financial planning, licensed across Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, Arkansas, Texas, Ohio, and Tennessee. What I learned on that field, discipline, preparation, and execution under pressure, is exactly what I bring to every client relationship and every strategy I build. I don't just teach the playbook, I lived it. I'll see you in the strategy session. It was a pleasure spending time with you. Take care.